Hi friends, welcome back. I'm Jess, this is the Scapegoat Club, and today's topic is... What is today's topic? Hello. Hi guys, thanks for tuning in. Ooh, it's a chilly day here. I hope you're all doing well. Thanks again for being here. If you haven't seen any of my videos before, I am estranged from my family. I feel that my parents have very strong narcissistic tendencies, as does my sister. And I was thinking about reconnecting. I don't have any plans to reconnect with them. And because I was just thinking about how it could actually possibly work. So if I could get over the hurt and the fear, I have really a lot of fear around them. I feel very unsafe around them. So if I could get around the hurt of things that they've done, if I get around that fear of them hurting me again, if I could get around the anger of how they treated me and how difficult it was and how unfair and unjust. If I can get around all those things, and I feel like I am starting to, as time goes by, I'm starting to, those kind of initial really strong, really reactive feelings are subsiding. And I'm getting more into, just moving on with my life. And so let's just, for argument's sake, say that I can park all those really kind of strong primary feelings. I just was thinking about if I did reconnect with my family. And the problems are these, and I'm curious if you think it would be similar for you. So the first problem I have is that I don't want to give them any information about myself. They have no rights to knowing anything about my life. They don't deserve to know anything about my life. And in my experience, anything that I've told them, they either dismiss completely because it doesn't fit with their narrative of who I am, or they will take that information and store it up and put it in their armory and make it into a weapon and then throw it back to me later. That's my kind of experience with them. And so when I say things like they don't listen to who I am, I've had conversations where they're like, so this is a good one. Well, no, Chess, you don't like broccoli. Well, we're having a meal. Oh no, Chess doesn't like broccoli. I probably didn't when I was about 8 or 9, but I was vegetarian for about 20 years and now I'm not, but I still eat a lot of broccoli. Broccoli is in my life. I don't eat it every day. It's not the love of my life, but I like broccoli. No, Chess, you don't like broccoli. Like, right, okay, so I haven't lived with you for 20 years and you have no clue, but you think that your opinion of me is right. And I use broccoli, that's just a humorous example, and maybe it doesn't really matter, but when it comes to things like, oh no, Chess, you don't know what you're talking about, you have no opinion, you're just this annoying, stubborn, stupid child, that's when their opinion of me becomes very very harmful and completely unproductive. And coming back to the point of this video, how can I have a conversation when that's their opinion of me and it doesn't change? Nothing I do or say changes. They have their opinion, it's set, and that's just the way it is, and that's how they want to see me and how they want to think of me. So I don't want to give them any information about me. There's no point. There's absolutely no point. So can I connect with them on neutral ground if we were to have, so if I'm going to not share any information about myself, so can we just have a conversation about neutral things? Well, I'm like, well, what would that be? We can't talk about politics because that's, you don't talk about politics anyway, but definitely not with my family. But also I feel that for a long time I've known that my values and what I'm interested in the world and just my opinion and my viewpoint of how I live my life is so different to theirs that it makes it really tricky to have a kind of a neutral conversation. And I'll give you a couple of examples. So one would be that I was having a conversation with, and it must have been around Christmas or something, because my sister and her family, we were on a big Skype call. And the subject came up, and I have no idea why, but it was about my aunt. And my aunt, to be fair, she's kind of quirky, but who doesn't have a quirky aunt? And the conversation came up where my parents and my sister were all making fun of my aunt. And it was just over a really strange, very trivial matter. If I talk broccoli, it was kind of along the broccoli lines. Very trivial. And so they were just making this joke, and I guess it was supposed to be some kind of, oh, let's just talk about something funny whilst we're having this nice time talking about Christmas stuff. I don't know what it was. But it was something they all thought was really amusing, and I was just sitting there thinking, okay, yeah, my aunt's quirky, but I'm not going to sit here and make fun of her. I don't feel like I'm 3 years old. I don't think that's appropriate. And there's, they're three adults, and I'm not quite sure where my sister's kids were and my brother-in-law, but I just remember thinking, this is just, at the time I wasn't thinking it was inappropriate, but at the time I was just like, I don't get it. I don't think it's funny. And afterwards now I'm thinking, I really don't think it was appropriate. But at the time I was like, okay. And then but the problem with that wasn't that I just, they let it pass, but it was like, oh, Jess doesn't think that's funny. Oh, look at that. Obviously it's not funny for her. And I was just like, no, I didn't find it funny, but now you've made it into this thing where you're having a go at me, singling me out, making me different, making me wrong. And it's just, what do you do with that? It's just weird and uncomfortable. Another example is they were talking to me about I have two nieces, and one of them was quite young. I'm going to say, I don't know, 13 years old, something like that. And they rarely tell me or told me anything about my nieces. And the one thing, but they would tell me if they achieved something, like, oh, she passed her exams and got into this fancy school. Okay. And okay, that's great. And then something else came up, like, oh, she was in like a national competition for spelling in a foreign language. I'm like, that's great. That's awesome. She's 13 years old. Is she happy? Is she a fun kid? Like, what does she like to do on the weekends? Where is the fun? She's a child, she's a fun kid. And okay, great. She did well in this competition. I'm super happy for her, if that's what she wants to do. But my question was, well, that's great. Is she happy? And they were just like, what do you mean? And maybe it was an odd question for me to ask, but I think it just came out of, like, just because she's achieved this thing doesn't mean anything to me. I don't care. She's my niece. I love her. And I just want her to be happy. And I really couldn't care less if she came top of the world or she never achieved anything. I just don't care. But for them, it's like they had to tell me and I had to appreciate it. And it was this thing. So coming back to the kind of the story of how to have some kind of fake, superficial, polite relationship with my family, I just find myself going, that's where my mind goes when I'm having a conversation with them. And I just find myself feeling either nothing or really alienated with them, or really kind of angry or confused or just weirded out by them. And so the only other thing I can think, if I had some kind of relationship with them, is that I would need to listen to them. And really that's what they want. They want us to, or they've been pressuring me to rekindle the relationship so that then they can talk to me. And I know that's what it is they want to tell everyone that they have this super happy family, and they want me to listen to whatever it is they want to talk about. And here's the thing, I'm sorry, but I just don't really want to listen. Maybe that makes me a terrible, horrible human being. And if so, then I am. But honestly, I think I am a pretty empathetic person. I do care and I do listen to people, and I do genuinely care about what's going on in people's lives. But the problem is with them is that so much has happened, and my scenario of rekindling a relationship is just going back into it without discussing what has happened and kind of working through all the difficulties that we had. And the problem with that is that I realize that I have lost my respect for them because they've been so disrespectful and honestly so delusional with me. It's been so difficult, and I have lost my respect. And if you have watched my videos before, you'll know that I'm really strong on respect. And so for me, I just think it would be wrong, actually, for me to go back into a relationship with these people when I don't respect them, because that's wrong. If I don't respect them, I should keep away from them. I would expect them to respect me. Ooh, that's too many rhyming words. But I do. If I have a relationship, I expect the person I'm in a relationship with to have some respect for me and for our relationship. And I'm sorry, but I don't respect them anymore. And that, I think, really is like the nail in the coffin. I just don't know how then I could have any relationship with them when I don't have that basic minimum requirement that I need. So, yeah, it's interesting. Have I forgiven them? Am I forgiving them? I think I'm getting along those lines, but it seems to me that just forgiving doesn't mean that I can kind of find a way back in, because there is no basis, there is no foundation there. It's just all gone. I'd love to hear what you think of the video, and as always, I love to hear your thoughts on the challenges we have around our potentially narcissistic families. Again, thank you so much for the support. The channel is growing slowly but surely, but that makes me really happy. Actually, it makes me really sad that there are so many of us in the same boat, but it makes me really happy that we are here and we are talking about it and we are supporting each other through it. Thank you so much for being here. I will talk to you again soon. Bye, my friends. Bye for now.